This video is sponsored by Native. So I've talked about their plastic-free deodorants for quite some time now, and they actually just switched the packaging, so it's a little bit more ergonomic for your underarms, right? Perfect. I have 3 scents here. This is the classic lilac and white tea. These were all paraben-free and aluminum-free. And then I have 2 sensitive scents right here. This one is aloe and green tea, and then my personal favorite, which is cotton and lily. The sensitive line is made without baking sodas, so if you get irritated by baking soda, definitely go for this line. It's a new magnesium oxide and coconut oil base formula. That's 72 hours of odor protection. These are plastic free, but they're also aluminum free, paraben free, vegan, and cruelty free. The texture is not sticky and it dries quickly. You can get 3 plastic free deodorants for $39, but if you use my link and code, which is ChristineMy6, you can get them for $26, which is 33% off. And with my code, you can also get 20% off any body wash and toothpaste. All right, welcome back everybody. So today I want to share some favorites. I have maybe like 10-ish things here. I'm going to start with, obviously, ceramics. I've been so consumed in ceramics lately, just at the studio, basically 6 days a week. I've been doing 1 day on, 1 day off. So 1 day with production stuff, like making boots, making things I need to make a lot of. And then the following day is to experiment, to do more fun things. So I was able to make quite a few things. I made these beans. They're little beans. They're supposed to be like Christmas lima beans. I made a cooking video on how to make this like brothy bean situation. And these are the beans that it's like mimicking, I guess. They're meant to be chopstick rests. So they lay kind of flat down like this on your table. And it's made with marbled, 2 types of clay marbled together. So it's like a dark brown clay and a white clay. Yeah. So it looks like this. These are the Christmas lima beans. And then I also made just regular white lima beans too. And this is like a glossy finish. And someone said that these look like gua sha tools. So then I ended up making them so they're more rounded. This isn't an example of one, but I ended up making them rounded all the way around. And then the side like more pointy so that you can use it as a gua sha stone. That should be coming out pretty soon. There's going to be a drop this Friday, which is the 29th at 9 a.m. Pacific. What else have I been making? Oh, I made a sofa stash situation, which is a little sofa and the cushions come off and you can stash things in there, if you know what I mean. I made a jelly sandal. Everyone's like, oh, this is a massive jelly sandal. But it started out as a size women's 8. And then it shrunk because shrinkage in ceramics, everything shrinks down like up to like 20%, right? So it shrunk down to like a size 6. So it's tiny, but I made that for Kelly Burnett. Also, I made this one in 1 day. This boot right here. Again, everyone's like, it's a giant boot. No, it's like a real size women's 8 because I knew that it would shrink because of the shoe that I made for Kelly. But so I knew it would shrink, so then I made it bigger even, and yeah, it shrunk down a little bit, and I wanted it to look more worn in. This whole thing is hollow, even like down to here, actually up to this point right here. So everything here is hollow, so you can use it as a base. I made this for my boyfriend, so it's his. It's not for sale. If you guys are interested, I do a lot of ceramic updates on my ceramics Instagram, which is ceramwrap. Yeah, follow it if you guys are interested in seeing the progress and all of that. In terms of ceramics that I've been collecting, well, I just got this one right here from my friend Sam, who is an instructor at the studio that I go to. She actually teaches at the Culver City location too, so it's this studio called the Pottery Studio, and so she's often at the location that I'm at. And this one day she came over and she gave me this bowl along with like a bunch of fruit snacks. So yeah, so I didn't see the inside of it or anything. I'm like, oh yeah, this is like a nice bowl, whatever, you know. And then when I finished the fruit snacks and I was like cleaning this, I'm like, damn, this is actually really well made. Obviously it's well made because she's an instructor, but this is very well done. Like, beautiful on the inside, very nice and burnished on the outside. You can see all the angles and everything. This is like, I don't know, like it feels and looks like something I would use as an heirloom, you know, or save as an heirloom, pass it down to my kids. Oh my God, did she not sign this? On the subject of signatures, I actually got a new stamp, so I started stamping everything. At first I was like, well, if I'm gonna hand make everything, I wanna like be able to sign it with my signature, which I have been doing for years, or like writing my initials in it and everything. But then over time I'm like, well, it's not very consistent. Sometimes the clay is different textures, you know, or different dryness, and it just doesn't show up consistent. So then I bought a stamp. I had a stamp made, and now you can see everything, which is great. I might flip-flop back and forth, but for now the stamp has been awesome. Okay, let's move on. So I've been cooking a lot this past month. I just got really excited about cooking out of nowhere. I was out with my friends, Nick and Mike. We were getting drinks and we walked down the street to this place called Freno, and they sold these cast iron grill pans, right? And they like flip-flop in and out of stock and stuff, and they were carrying this one brand called Fine X. And I've wanted a stovetop griddle for a while. Actually, I wanted a barbecue for a while, but something about barbecues kind of freaked me out. I guess it's the gas or the charcoal or whatever, you know. And I've always wanted one, and it just seems a little bit daunting. So I was in the market for a griddle for a while. This one from Fine X is made in Portland. It's beautiful. It looks a little bit masculine, like a little bit too masculine for my liking. However, it has everything that I want, which is like higher sides, so like splashing and stuff can be contained. It has a different texture handle so that I can move it without like burning up my hands. It's heavy, which is a good and bad thing, but it conducts heat really evenly and very well. So I've been using that for, believe it or not, I've been using it for eggs. The eggs do not stick to this pan, which is fantastic. You just have to remember to preheat it for about 5 minutes or so that it's evenly heated, and then use a little bit of oil, and then I've been able to make like the really crispy, lacy Vietnamese style eggs on that. So I've been making like bánh mì ốp la, which is like a Vietnamese breakfast sandwich. On that subject, I actually got the new cast iron pan from our place. So they make this pan called the Always pan, right? And then now they have another pan called the Ever pan, probably, I think. Forever pan? I don't know. It looks like the Always pan, but it's cast iron or enamel cast iron. So it's meant to be more like an heirloom piece. I know that like a couple years ago I talked about how I love the Always pan and it's fantastic and everything, but then I used it for about 3 months and then the non-stick capacity just like depleted. So I was bummed out about it. I told everyone about it. I was like, damn, this sucks, because it's a fantastic pan, but over time you're going to be replacing this pan pretty often, so you're better off just getting cast iron skillets. So I talked about how cast iron skillets are better and etc., right? And then anyway, so they have this new enamel cast iron skillet, which I'm still testing out. So far so good. So far I like it. It's very well thought out. However, they came out with this thing right here, which is a press, and this is fantastic. You can also use like the bottom of another cast iron skillet to do the same thing, but this one is just great because it serves that purpose. It's easy to clean and it distributes everything evenly, so you can like, I made like bacon and sausage and like all that stuff, and usually if you make bacon on a griddle, it just kind of curls up, and I don't know, it just doesn't look that great. Where if you press this down, everything just flattens right out. Like hot dogs, for instance, it usually curls up a bit for me. But yeah, this is great because it just gives everything a perfect sear, like flat surface, so you get a really nice even maillard. So on the subject of cookware, so for years and years I've been using this as my rice cooker. This is the Le Creuset, I don't know, it's like teeny tiny, it's like a personal size, you know, and I've used it for years. It's kind of grody on the inside, But I really like it, and I'm gonna continue using it. However, I've been cooking a lot more for people, you know, in general. So this is great and everything, but it just doesn't cut it if you have 3 or 4 people that you want to make rice for. Oh, by the way, I thrifted this like years ago. And then I found this guy right here, which is also thrifted. It's like an apple, and it's also by Le Creuset. I got it for like 20 bucks or something like that. I know I keep flip-flopping, but what I'm trying to say is that before you go and buy a brand new Le Creuset, try looking for it used. Like go on Facebook Marketplace, go on Craigslist, go to your local thrift store. If you go into a more like expensive area, a lot of times they'll have really nice cookware. I find a lot of my Le Creuset stuff and my all-clad stuff in thrift stores. So yeah, you're probably wondering where I got my earrings from. Just kidding, you're probably not wondering that. But there's this brand called Bagari, and they have these earrings right here. And I saw them and I'm like, oh, these are really cute, you know? And then I saw that they're called Sade earrings, so I just had to get them, right? But yeah, this is the smaller size, which I've been wearing a lot. I love how they hoop all the way around. They're like hollow, so they're really nice and lightweight. And then I also have these right here, which are bigger. And they remind me of what she wore in this photograph. A while ago when I had long hair, I wore hoop earrings all the time. And whenever I put them on, it made me feel like a superhero. It just felt so cool. And when I cut my hair like super short, I kind of stopped wearing bigger earrings because it seemed like too much of a statement. But now I'm getting back into it, so yeah, I'm really excited to have these in my collection right now. Speaking of my hair, okay, so when it was short, it felt really great and everything, but now it's in the process of growing out, and I've had it short for over a year now, so I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to grow it out. But it's been getting so hot. My hair's super thick, and finding different ways to style it and stuff is just kind of a pain in the ass. So I went to an Som and Spam event at the end of May, and they gave away a goodie bag, and this clip was in there, and it's by a brand called Chunks. And I went with my friend Trisha, and she's like, oh my gosh, I actually already have one of these in my backpack. So she pulled it out, and I'm like, how cute. So we were like looking at these clips, and they're really well made. They're like a really nice heavy duty acetate, and it just feels really good. So I was wearing this a ton, and then eventually I'm like, I want like a contrasting color. I want like a different color completely. So then I looked up online to see where they were carried, and they were carried at this place kind of near my house called Prelude and Dawn. So I went there and I got this blue one, which I love, which I've been wearing a little bit more of, to be honest. They're fantastic so far. They feel better than a lot of the other plastic clips that I have. So yeah, nice and heavy duty in my opinion so far. If you have short hair, or if you just have like really thick hair, or if you just want to put up your hair, check out Chunks. They have quite a collection, and yeah, I really like a lot of their stuff. Again, I've been doing a lot of ceramics, and it's been really fun. But at the end of the day, my hands have been like cracking and so dry, and I don't know, it's just like not very appealing. And I went through like all the hand creams that I normally use, and I think my skin has just like totally adapted to it. So then I started using this heavy duty balm right here. This is from Mirror Water, which is Estee Lauder's brand. It's called Rub Solid Balm, and I think it's meant for like massaging, but it's fantastic for what I need, because it starts out like a solid balm like this, and then you just kind of like melt it into your hands, and then I like to massage it into like my fingertips and my cuticles, because that's where it gets the most dry, like to the point where like my thumb, like it's on the mend, but it feels like it's never gonna heal, you know. It's just so dry, because I mean, I work with clay all day, which pulls out moisture all day. So yeah, this is a really nice way to condition and help out my skin for the next day, you know? She did a really good job with this brand. She also has a body oil that I really like as well. But this has been my savior. On to media favorites. Okay, life skills with Rajiv. So there's this guy who was in the movie Mean Girls. He played Kevin G, the rapper, mathlete guy. And yeah, he's just like a comedian, you know? Anyway, in my world, he kind of like disappeared for a long time, and then when he came back, I've been seeing him on YouTube like a ton for HGTV, and he's just teaching life skills. So I watched like his home tour or something like that, and I'm like, this guy's like a Renaissance man. He knows how to do everything. He just knows so much. So he has this series on HGTV, Handmade, called Life Skills with Rosée, where he teaches you how to season a cast iron skillet, how to arrange your place so that when you have a guest over, it feels more like a home, or it feels more welcoming, or how to be a good host. That's what it is. He has another one where like how to wash the dishes, which, you know, a lot of these videos that he is sharing are these life skills that he's sharing. I'm like, well, obviously you know how to do that, right? But then you watch it and you learn all these little skills, like it just makes sense. He's like a Renaissance man. He just knows a bit about everything and is super passionate about little details. So my kind of people, you know. So there's this show called Nathan For You that I really love, that my boyfriend introduced me to a few years ago. And then the other day we were driving somewhere, and then we're like, man, we really hope that Nathan Fielder will come out with something, because that's just so much talent to be lost and doing nothing. And then a couple days later, my sister was like, hey, have you heard of this show called The Rehearsal? It's with this guy, Nathan Fielder. And we're like, what? So then we went to her house after having dinner. We went to her house and watched the first episode, because new episodes come out every Friday or so. He just finds people with like a situation. So let's say, like the first episode, there's this guy who lied about not graduating with a master's to his friends of however many years. I think it was like 12 years or something like that. He just feels really guilty about it, so he wants to come out to his friends and say, hey, I didn't graduate with my master's. And all his friends are like super smart and all that stuff, right? So then he's just terrified of the outcomes. So what Nathan Fielder did was he created a scenario or a situation where he can enter and then rehearse every single aspect of, I guess, the speech that he's going to give to his friends, right? So then it's so funny. He's like, okay, so I'm going to go like tell them at this bar. And then so then Nathan Fielder went to the bar with like his crew and everything, and then assessed the entire bar and everything, and then recreated the entire bar. He goes to extreme measures to rehearse scenarios in like a very lifelike setting. So they'll hire actors that are similar to the real people, and it's a really good laugh. And it's one of those things where, like, for me, whenever I think something's really funny, I'll laugh to the point where I go in like a freeze where I can't even breathe or like audibly laugh. I just kind of freeze up, you know? It's like that. Well, those are all my favorites for the month of July. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any favorites to share with me, please leave a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.